All right, B'siyata D'Shmaya Perek Tes Vov is where we are holding. Okay, let's try to finish off the Perek Be'ez Hashem today. Let's go. Siyata D'Shmaya. Now that we know the differences Be'etzem between the Tzaddik, the Rasha, and the Beinoni, we're going to delve a little bit deeper into that sugya about some different things. Let's have a look. Ubezeh Yuvon. Now we understand. Mashakosa, there's a posuk in Malachi Gimel, every yeshiva bacha knows nach bal peh. V'shavtem ri'isem bein tzaddik l'rasha. Right? Means again we see between the tzaddik and the rasha. Continues the pasuk. Bein oived Elokim la'asheloi avodoi. Right, we're going to have to define those terms of what that means. Right, what is an oved Elokim and someone that's not oved Elokim in that case? It's not just a double, right? You know, saying over again and again. The pasuk is not just saying over things and again. It must mean that it's a different madrega, and this is what we mean that in the previous parakim, the madrega of Tzaddik Bein Rasha. Now, through that understanding that hopefully we have from the Prakim, from Aleph all the way to Yudalit, we can understand that an Oved Elokim is not necessarily a tzaddik, and someone that's not Oved doesn't mean he's a Rasha. Let's explain. Shahefesh, the difference, Bein Oved Elokim letzaddiku. What's the difference between an Oved Elokim? I mean, in English, I guess they would translate that as someone who's serving Hashem. And a tzaddik, I mean, it's better than the same thing, no? Obviously not, because there seems to be, doubles over here. There's duplicates in the pasuk. What's the pshat? There must be obviously a different madrika. Sha'oiveid, loshen, very important, hu loshen hoive. Okay? Shuhu be'emtza ha'avoida, she'amuchome mi'yetzahor l'izkabalav l'goshem mi'ektana, she'lo yislabish be'ivra guf. That means someone who's an oived, it means it's still currently happening. The battle is still going on. He's engaged right now in the war with his Yetzirah to be evil, to Be'ez Hashem, his Gaber to overpower, to overcome, and eventually Lugarish to dispel and divorce from the Ir Ktana. So the very fact that we call a person an Oved Hashem means he still has the Ra inside him. He has the bad inside him. He's just working on it right now. He's in the middle of working on this avodah, on this mulchama. Shelo yislabish be'ivra guf. Right? This means the Yetzirah hasn't yet been matzliach to affect any ava in his body, right? As we've said many times. He's the Beinoni that we always talk about. Shu be'emes avodah va'omel godol ilochem b'tomid. That's tremendously hard work, constantly be in battle. V'hainu ha-Beinoni. And that is our famous Beinoni. That's a Beinoni. So this lashon of the pasuk in Malachi, that we call someone an Oved Elokim, is not a tzaddik, he's a Beinoni. Because he's currently right now, Oved, he's working to battle over the Yetzirah to make sure that it doesn't overpower him. Avol, had tzaddik nikre Eved Hashem, not Oved, Eved in the past. B'shem hatoya, it's a noun. Means we're talking about the person himself as opposed to describing his actions. K'moy shem chochamoy melech. When we call someone a chocham, it's a wise person. Or we call someone a melech, he's a king. What does that mean? He's working on it like he's on the way to becoming a king? No. Someone's a king because he is already a king. He's developed. He's fully there. Shekva nasa chocham o melech. He's become that already. Karzeh kva ovad. This guy also already worked in it. He completely finished the war with the bad ad ki and he's allowed, right, the left hand side of the heart is now empty of the Yetzirah. It's gone, it's finished, it's dispersed from within him. So that's what a tzaddik is. That's an Eved Hashem. He's currently an Eved. He's got the name Eved. As opposed to what the pasuk says in Malachi that we started this parak in is Oived Elokim. Okay. Ubebeinoni, and even in a Beinoni, yesh gam kim shtei madrigas. There's two madrigas. There's Oived Elokim and Va'asher Lo Ovdu. This is not included in Tzaddik and Rasha. This is two madrigas within the Beinoni. V'yafal pikein ain't a Rasha. He's not a Rasha, as we know. Kilo ovim yom shum averikala. In his life, he never ever transgressed one Aveira, even the light ones. And he also was Mekayim every single mitzvah that it was possible and shaykh for him to Mekayim. For Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. He never, ever stopped learning. Ella, she'ena oisa shumo choma mitzvah natzka alidei or Hashem ha'me'al nefesh elikis she'mamoich hashot alaleiv kanal. That means, yes, Avadi, he's a Beinonim at the end of the day, because he's got no Averas. He never did an Avera, and he keeps on learning. He does every single mitzvah. But at the end of the day, he's considered an Einoi Oved Hashem, because he's not actively working to conquer the Yetzer Hara. So he's not an Oved Hashem. Again, no Avera, learning the whole time. But since he's not engaged in the battle against his Yetzer Hara, he's called an Einoi Oved Hashem. So now the kasha is, whoa, how does this guy still be a Beinonim? How's it shaykh for him to still be in the madrig of a Beinonim without fighting his Yetzer Hara? Don't you have to fight Yetzer Hara to continue to be a Beinonim? That's basically what the Heilige Tanya is saying. So the Tanya, I'll tell you pshat. His Yetzer Hara never tries to stop him from learning or doing his avodas Hashem. He doesn't have to fight. He doesn't have to fight. He was created an azar oifen that he doesn't have to fight. That's why it's called a loy oved, because he's not oisik, he's not engaged, he's not busy with the mulchama at this moment of time, because there's no amelis and avodas Hashem, because he doesn't need to. There's no fight sort of coming against him that he has to fight against. Kegoin, he's giving an example. Shu masmid belimudoy betivoy. Hear this? There are people that are born masmidim. They're born masmidim. For them it's easy. It's part of their nature. They were born to be a masmid. They don't have to fight their nature to be a masmid. For them it's natural. It's not even a big deal. Mitold alto from when they were born. From the Gemara talks all about this lamaisa. The Parashah talks about people that in their insides are born in a way that just push their heart just takes them in a certain mahalach, and their nechshava and their liboy and their seichot is dovak in that way. They don't have to fight it. It's like a natural sort of magnetic force that takes them to learning Torah and to being a masmid. You hear this? What I say? There's no taivas noshim. No major yetzer hara for women. He's got a major taiva. It's not such a warm, we're not talking about temperature over here, right? But although the Chazal always use that warmness and that heat to always describe someone that's Yitzhar is fire. It's on fire for taivas and for all sorts of pleasures. He has a cold, simple, no taivas for women. Since he's that mahalach, he was created in that way. He doesn't have to think so much about the Gadol Hashem. In order to produce mibinosai from his bina ruach das v'yas Hashem. So Avadi is a Beinonim. He never did an Aveira. He's learning the whole time. He's a Beinonim, but he's not an Oved Hashem. Why? Because he has a natural love of Hashem. He's got no Yetzer Hara fighting him in a different direction. His Yetzer Hara is, I guess, very weak. It's a weak Yetzer Hara, so when he's not fighting, he's not constantly engaged in a battle. He's not an Oved Hashem, but he's a Beinonim. Elo, we'll do a summary, by the way, afterwards of all the different madrigos. We'll get to it, just in case you're confused with whoa, where are we holding over here? Elo dailoi, ba'aba musteres, dormant love. Like it lays hidden within him. Doesn't have to work on it. Doesn't have to be engaged in it. Therefore, in Oved Klal, he's not called an Oved. He's not working. He's not currently in the war, in the battle. It's not working. It's not happening. Which we'll get to later on. That talks all about those inyonim. But Al Kaponim, it's something that he got a Yerusha, he got an inheritance. For him, it's normal, it's simple, it's not a big deal. Even if a person is not created, is not naturally inclined to be this masmid, he was margul himself. He made it a habit within himself. He worked on himself to become this masmid. And now it becomes his second nature to be a tremendous masmid. And by the way, the same is true with anything in that case. Whatever it is, a person trains himself to only eat kosher things. So it becomes like second nature to him. Eventually it becomes not even a battle. Like, for example, imagine you have a Baal Tshuva, right? He works on himself for the first few years, like he doesn't have any type, like, I don't want to think about the chocolates and all the things that I used to eat when I was, whatever it was. Eventually it becomes second nature, and then it's not even a battle for him. It's not something he has to work on. It's normal for him. You ask about Tshuva for 20 years, like, you still have taivas and things? No, I don't even think about it anymore. So when a person who worked on something that becomes his second nature, he no longer has to work on it actively. Okay? Unless he wants to learn more than the nature, more than the regular. So this person, he might confuse himself with a tzaddik, right? Because he might think of himself that I'm a tzaddik, because Lamaisa, I don't do any averis, I learn Torah all day, I have a natural love for learning, natural smada. My Yetzirah for women is not coming down in any way, shape, or form that's causing me to even have a bad hurum over here. So he kind of confuses himself with a tzaddik, but really he's a Beinonim that just teaches himself to do the right thing, right? But he hasn't yet transformed the inner core of who he is and how he was created, and therefore he doesn't have to work too hard either. Ubazeh, Yuvan, Mashakosu Begimucha. The Gemara says, Chagigat of Tes. The Oived Elikim. Hainu. What's Oived Elikim? Mi Sheshoine Pirka Meir Pa'amim. It's a very interesting Gemara, by the way. The Heilige Tanya is going to give us a modige pshat to this Gemara. The Gemara says, what's a real Eved Hashem? Oived Elikim. Someone that learns Mi Sheshoine Pirka Meir Pa'amim Ve'echod. He learns 101 times. Not 100. 100 is not good. 101. Oh, that's Oived Elikim. V'lo Yavdoi. What's a non-Eved Hashem? Guys, you've all learned Gemara. You've done Chazara. After 3 or 4 times of doing Chazara, how much of a taiva do you have to do more Chazara? Imagine doing Chazara 100 times, or 99 times after learning it once. 100. That's not an Oved Elikim. 101? Oh, now you're Oved Elikim. It's a Gemara, right? The Gemara says in Chagiga, everyone asks, like, what is the pshat? It's a moshul. How do we understand it? We'll see. V'hainu. Listen to this explanation of the Tanya. Mishum. Should be mayim hayu regilus lishnos kol perek meir pamim. You have to understand, in those days, it was natural and normal for everyone to learn every blat that they learned 100 times. It was normal. It was a normal part of learning. Just like you could say nowadays, most people do Chazorah once or twice, maybe. In those days, it was normal to Chazor it 99 times after learning it once. Everyone learned the daf 100 times. Kedis also, Gemara Moshe B'Shuk Shel Chamorim, Sheniskorim le'esa parse bezuzi, or le'acha also parse betrei zuzi, Mneishu Yosem Regulosam. Which means like this. The Gemara over there says, when a person rents a donkey for 1 more mile, right, pays double the price. Why? It's only 1 more mile. Why does it pay double the price? Why? Because it was more than the donkey was used to walking. So because it's more, he pays double the price. Okay? The Melech of the Balatanya, that's pshat. When a person learns 100 or 101, it's more than you were used to. They were all used to learning 100 times. So when you go beyond what's natural, beyond what you're used to, and you do 101, that's called Oved Hashem. Now you're serving the Rabbeinu Shalom. So what's this mashal? So the donkey, Be'etzim, is a mashal to teach us that it's only rented. They rented the donkey. The Gemara says that clearly. It never becomes yours. Right? You're renting it for a small amount of time to take you to your next destination, but it never becomes yours. It's and it's like the relationship between you and your animal soul as well. You can hire the animal soul to serve Hashem. And what the question that many people are asking, which what the Balatanya here is answering, is if I never transformed my animal soul, am I really serving Hashem? Am I really serving Hashem if I never transform my inside, my inner core, my nefesh Bahamas? So the Tanya, absolutely yes. How? Just go a little bit beyond of what you're normal doing. Just go a little bit more to what you're used to. Go out of your comfort zone. That's Oved Hashem. That's an Oved Hashem. Okay? As he continues, Velachem. Zoisapama me'eva'achas. This 101. One more time, learning the Gemara. Hayeseva levegilus, which is more than your natural way of doing learning. Shehugim and herb that your habit as a kid. Shkula keneged kulon is worth everything. Va'ola gabeim b'yesas eis v'yosa eis aliyos niko Oved Elikim. It makes you into an Oved Elikim. Mipnei. Why? Shekdei l'shanas teva regilus, in order to break the nature, the natural. Tzorich la'oyves ha'avas Hashem. You have to be able to arouse the Av of Hashem al yedei, through She is Beinonim begedulas Hashem b'moichai. Lishtod al hateva b'chol al smali. Hamonit dam hanefesh b'hamed sheba'klipa. Shemenu hateva zu avodas tama leBeinoni. This is the avodah tama. That means that a real avodas Hashem requires a huge fight. It requires to be engaged in an actual fight to become a better person. It's an ongoing process that we all have to be oisig in and busy with every moment of our lives. And the Tanya is telling us, in order to do this, constantly thinking about the Gadlus Hashem. Oi. If there's no mulchama, then it's not really called a ava. So just very quickly, just to sum up over here, we're very, very long. There are 4 types of Beinonim that the Tanya over here in this parak is teaching us. He's teaching us about the Beinonim that has no effort whatsoever. It's an effortless Beinonim. He doesn't put any effort whatsoever. He's got no inner struggle b'chlal. It's inborn. Then he talks about what we call, I guess, the static Beinonim, right? In other words, he used to struggle, it used to be hard for him, but he worked on himself, and now becomes second nature to him. These 2 that we just mentioned are not real Eved Hashem, right? Because there's no real effort that they put in it. And then you have number 3, someone that's an Eved Hashem, but it's not complete. Why? Because he doesn't make enough effort. He relies on the love that he has naturally inside him to keep him going, but it's not enough. And number 2 is the ideal Beinoni is someone who puts in a tremendous amount of effort. So the kitzur, the summary from Perek Tezvav is we have to become the Beinoni that we can become. We've been shown in the past that we all can become the Beinoni by a constant fight with our Yetzer Hara, a constant fight to go a little bit beyond, out of our comfort zone and beyond what we're normal doing, and then we'll be the ideal Beinoni. Join us, Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow, Perek Tazayin.